What is going on, people? Welcome to the channel. The Cerakote Headlight Restoration Kit says it can clarify, restore, and protect your headlights for life, guaranteed. All of that for 30 bucks. The headlights on this 2010 Hyundai Santa Fe are oxidized and the outer protective layer has developed micro cracks, as you can see here. All of this will not only make your headlights look bad, but it'll also reduce nighttime driving visibility. And in addition to that, depending on where you live, cloudy headlights like this will fail government inspections as well. Now, the goal here is going to be to use only what comes in this kit to get the job done. That way, you get a real-world example of the capabilities and limitations of a kit like this. So before even starting, I can tell you that a kit like this is going to be well worth your time and effort, considering brand new headlights will cost you upwards of $400 plus labor, and that's for jobber parts to boot. OEMs will cost you even more. So in the video today, I'll show you exactly what comes with this kit, and I'll demonstrate step by step how to use it to get the best results possible. After that, I'll show you the end results so you can decide if this kit is right for you. Here's everything this kit comes with. You get 8 oxidation remover wipes, you get 4 sanding discs as well as a sanding disc holder, you get 2 packs of the ceramic clear coating, you get 2 pairs of gloves, an instruction manual, and that's all that's going to come in the kit. In addition to this, I'd recommend a spray bottle full of water, as well as some masking tape and a couple of microfibers just to keep things clean. Before starting the actual process, make sure the headlights are clean and dry. You can do this by washing your vehicle or just use some glass cleaner and a microfiber towel. But make sure the headlights are clean and completely dry. Popping the hood like this will reduce the amount of adjacent painted surfaces to your headlight, and that's just going to reduce the likelihood of you getting any of the chemicals or any of the sanding processes on the actual painted surfaces. So go ahead and do that as well. And then for the drying step, use a microfiber towel. I'm going to combine the microfiber with an actual blower here, and this is just a Metro vacuum blow. It blows hot, filtered, clean air onto the surface, and it will just ensure that the surfaces are fully dry before you start. If you don't have one of these, just let the headlights air dry before starting, but just make sure that they're completely dry. All the products that I use in this video today can be found at carzilla.ca. What I'll do is I'll list and link every single one of them in the description below, as well as give you a discount code which will save you 5% off of a lot of things at Carzilla. So check that out in the description when you get a second. Now that both headlights are perfectly cleaned and dried, we're going to take some masking tape and just mask off the adjacent painted surfaces. This is why we popped the hood in the previous step, so now we have less to mask off in this step. Now that we're actually done with all the prep work, we're going to start with step 1, which is the oxidation remover wipes. It's going to come with 8, and you're going to use 4 per headlight, and I'd recommend using all 4 per each headlight. Even if you feel like it's starting to clean most of the oxidation off, just use all 4. And so you're going to put on the supplied gloves like I have, and then the process is easy. Just go in whichever motion you want. They recommend using circular motion for this step like this, but sometimes I go circular, sometimes back and forth. Whatever works for you, just do what you got to do to get the job done. For your convenience, I'll also leave a PDF copy of the step-by-step instructions in the description below as well. But take a look at the first step there, lots of yellow coming off, so throw that away and then take out another clean and wipe and then repeat the process until all 4 have been used up. Now we're going to be on the 4th wipe here, which is the final wipe. And as you're going to be able to see, even with 4 full wipes, we're still going to be pulling a little bit of that yellow oxidation off. And this is going to totally depend on how bad the headlights were to begin with. At this stage, don't worry. The next step will take care of anything left over. So now that we've done with step 1, do the exact same process on the other light using all 4. And then we're going to thoroughly rinse off all the residue with some water. Now, in the previous step there, if you got any of the oxidation remover chemical on the painted surfaces, wipe it away with a microfiber towel. Now, before moving on to step 2 of the process, go ahead and remove and discard your old gloves that you used in step 1. And you don't need gloves for step 2. I messed up, and in the video, you see here, I'm putting on the last pair of gloves. These ones are you're supposed to put on during step 3, so if you do what I did and wore them during the sanding step, make sure you clean them thoroughly before moving on to step 3. So now we're going to start with the 2000 grit maroon sanding disc. Go ahead and place it on to the sanding disc holder. And then this is where the spray bottle comes in handy, because wet sanding is a lot more effective and it does a much better job. So I'd recommend always to go in one direction when it comes to sandpaper and then another direction when it comes to the next step of the sanding process. So in this case, what we're going to do is we've sprayed the headlight and we're going to go in a horizontal pattern with the 2000 grit. And watch, as I do this process, you're going to notice a few things. One is the headlights are going to start to get cloudy, and then this white milky residue is going to start running off the headlights, and that's more of the oxidation as well as the outer protective layer of the headlight coming off here. And don't worry, you don't have to panic when it comes to sanding. 2000 grit is actually a very non-aggressive sanding grit. Usually 2000 used to be a finishing grit, and now we're using it as a step 1, so you don't need to worry. And in most cases, depending on how bad the headlight is, I personally would be going with a more aggressive sandpaper like 1500 grit as the first step, but the point of this video was to use only what was included in this kit for this demonstration. After you've scrubbed the headlight for 2 to 3 minutes with the first sanding disc paper, you're going to move on to the next one, which is a 3000 grit, and you're going to do the exact same thing. Wet the headlight down, and in this step, since we went sideways on the first one, we're going to go vertically, up and down, and so we're going to use the exact same scrubbing motion back and forth for 2 to 3 minutes for this step as well. And now this is a 3000 grit sandpaper, which is a lot finer. So in this step, we're not going to be taking as much material off, but we will be clarifying the headlight a little bit here. Now that we're done with the 3000 grit, we're going to rinse away any of the residue just with some plain water, just to get rid of any of that milky residue that's going down the bumper there. Then you're going to repeat the exact same steps on the other headlight before moving on to step 3. Now before moving on to the final step of the process, make sure again you thoroughly dry off all of the water on the headlight and re-tape at this point if needed, because the tape's going to hold a bit of water. But this step, it is very important to make sure that you completely and thoroughly dry off the headlight before applying the ceramic sealant. The ceramic sealant is not going to bond and cure properly if the headlight is wet, and so you want to make sure that this is the one step that you don't mess up. Now that we've dried and retaped both headlights, it's time to move on to step 3, which is the ceramic sealant. Now, at this point, you would be putting on the second pair of gloves that this applied, but because I put them on in the last step, I just make sure that I cleaned and dried the gloves properly. To apply the sealant, go in a horizontal motion with a 50% overlap, exactly as I'm showing. You don't need to unfold the sealant cloth, just take it out of the packet and do exactly as I'm showing here. Closely inspect the light as you do this motion to make sure that any of the haziness left from the previous step is disappearing as that sealant is filling in the pores of the headlight here. And they do note that only one single coat of this process is necessary, so you don't need to overlap too many times and keep going over the same area. Just that 50% overlap is all that's needed. And as you can see, it's looking pretty good there. Now, make sure this step is very crucial, but wait exactly 1 hour or more before exposing this to any water or taking it for a drive. Here are the final results after letting the headlights cure for at least an hour. As you can see there, the headlights look so much better than before. And not only that, but they make the entire image of the vehicle look a lot better. And for less than $30 Canadian, huge value here. It took less than half an hour to actually do this, so you can't go wrong. Just look at how good it makes this vehicle look just by doing a simple task like that. And are these headlights perfect? No, they definitely are not perfect. There's still a bit of oxidation left in certain spots, which if we had used more aggressive sandpaper and some more aggressive techniques, we could have gotten that done as well. But like I mentioned earlier, the point here was just to use what this kit comes with so the consumer can get an idea of what exactly they can expect out of a kit like this. Now, if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you already haven't, and then check out this video that's popping up on your screen next, and then do comment below if you've used this headlight kit before and what kind of results you got out of it in the long run. Thank you for watching.